2023. We've got 3 years to go. My voice is getting a bit rough. I've got less than an hour to record all this, and my blood sugar is dropping, so I'm starting to shake a bit. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, so this one, I mentioned that one of the things I like to do in December and even into early January is go back to unfinished sketches that I have and see if I can finish them up. This was a sketch I had done, I think, in the summer of 2022, but I didn't finish it until January 2023, which I think I had actually promised it as like a summer pinup to my Ko-fi members, unfortunately. So I still feel bad that it took me so long to get it out, but I do think it did come out pretty well. Especially like the water from the hose. Her braids are a bit clumped together. I think they could look a bit more natural. But overall, I think this one came out well. This one is Philippa. I have mixed feelings on this one. There's stuff here that's good, but there's also stuff that I think could be a lot better. And I mentioned Madeline returns for the Valentine's Day pinup for 2023. She's just so cute and so much pink. Just like the last one, this one burned my eyes, but it was so worth it. And it came out so cute. I'm still really happy with this one, if you can't tell. I'm still very happy with this one. This one, I feel like this one deserves a fanfare. This one deserves an announcement. I published a book. And I guess I also forget to remind myself what a big thing is because now I get so caught up in the fact that I had to unpublish this book. But I still put a book out. So this is Calidus Chronicles Volume 1, and this is the cover art. And it's not bad if I do say so myself, especially going back to how I said when I was younger, I used to think, oh, my art isn't good enough to do my own cover art. I'll let someone else do that because it has to be better than anything I can do. I don't think this is all that bad. There's a few things, again, especially like Richard's hand and Hammond's arm and stuff like that. We're also going to completely ignore that Runa is missing an arm because I couldn't figure out what to do with her left arm. So there's the right one and just her left arm is conveniently missing. But the background, with this background, I absolutely nailed the balance between vague and detailed. Like, there's just enough that it works. It's a little blurry because you're not supposed to focus on it. The background is perfect. The curtains look great. It looks so good. Let me reach into my purse really quick. It looks so good. I will not be using this cover for the second edition for a number of reasons, both because I still think I can do something better. I also think I can represent the story better because someone pointed out that it doesn't necessarily look like a fantasy story, so it would be better to incorporate something that shows that there is magic here. The second edition should have a different cover. But you know what? I wrote this. I put it out. I drew a great cover for it. And despite everything that has happened since then, I did good. This one was supposed to be the cover of Volume 3. We still haven't gotten to the cover of Volume 2 yet, but that's besides the point. This was going to be the cover of Volume 3. Now I don't know. Volume 3 was never released. I had almost finished editing it when things went down. But yeah, this was going to be the cover. Now I don't know. But it still came out really well, and I like the design. It's the goddess of the hunt, Bellona. I figured it was worth showing off here. So this one, going back to the pinup roots to draw Runa in a very luxurious robe. I don't think there's anything I would change about this one. Like, the face isn't perfect. I think the angle isn't quite right, but honestly, I look at this, I don't think I would touch it. I think this one is practically perfect. There was another piece of Carolyn that I really wanted to include here because I'm still really proud of it. I think it came out really well. But it had enough skin showing that I don't think YouTube would let me get away with it. So I'm just going to say here that it exists and it was going to be included, but at the last minute it got cut. I'm still sad about it. Carolyn again, this one a bit more modern, and just her enjoying some tea, or probably a vanilla latte, and sitting by her bookshelf. You can see that compared to the last time I drew her bookshelf, I didn't bother putting all that attention into the books because no one liked the last time I drew her bookshelf. Still salty. I do really like this one though. Like, the books are too bare and they definitely could use some more detail to it, but I do like this one overall. And I think her face came out really well too. That's a big deal. So this is a revamp of the Halloween pinup I did of Catherine in 2022. I didn't have time to do a new Halloween pinup for 23, so I just went in and fixed up a few things in the 22 one, updated the coloring, and I think I fixed her face a bit. But still really solid. I still really like this one. This one, I got a new Wacom tablet, and I'm like, okay, what do I do for my first picture with a new tablet to help me get used to it? Well, go to my comfort space, and that is Runa in Vintage Lingerie. It worked. This was actually the last story cover I did for volume 3 before I decided to stop serializing on Ko-fi and just focus on writing the books. I feel like this one's a little stiff. Actually, it's not as stiff as I thought. I think this one is actually really good. She looks short for some reason. Athena is supposed to be tall. But I think this one actually came out really well. I'm happy with it overall, especially the bird. The bird came out really well. So this was a series of art that was done over the course of 2023 at different points throughout the year. I believe it was in the fall that I finished the third one. It's my 3 Dark Elf girls in the story who haven't actually shown up in the story, so I'm spoiling a bunch of things. All of them in repose and just relaxing in different ways. Oh, talk about a blast from the past. So, does anyone remember when Disney released Wish, which was supposed to be the culmination of 100 years of Disney storytelling? And it was whatever. But after the movie released, we saw concept art for what could have been a romance between a star boy and the main character Asha. And I looked at it and I said, that is Jacunzel vibes. So I went back and I drew Jack Frost and Rapunzel inspired by the concept art. Because what else was I gonna do? Look, some ships never die. You may get older and you may move on, but you will never fully escape them. And that for me is Jack Frost and Rapunzel. Last piece of the year was Throthgar in a similar Santa coat to the one Lagan wore in 2021. I was trying to make it a series, and that just didn't quite happen. This one's fine. It's okay, but it's not great, but it's okay. And just as a bit of a bonus, I don't remember when this was drawn in 23, but it's a compass rose I designed for a potential map for the story. And that's 2023. So, 2024. There is a reason why there is an entire video on my channel titled What Happened in 2024, which I have kind of alluded to throughout these videos. because late in the year, my whole life fell apart and was completely destroyed. Now, even before that, my mental health, not great, rapidly deteriorating due to a lot of things that were happening in my life, a lot of which is my fault. Some of it is other people's influence on my life. Point is, 2024 was a rough year, and that's why, quite frankly, there's not a lot here. But let's get into it. Okay, first piece of the year. And I'm not proud of this one. So this was supposed to be Hrothgar and Carolyn, kind of a follow-up to the piece of him wearing the sexy Santa coat that I did at the end of 23. This one's just not good. God, she looks like Cher. It looks so bad. He doesn't look good either. I wish I could leave this off, but I set the rules for myself, so I will adhere to them. This was the first piece of 2024. Here we have Hammond, and I won't say this is when I finalized Hammond's design, because I think I'm still going to make some tweaks to Hammond's ultimate design. But I'm really happy with how this came out. I don't have a lot to say about it. I'm just happy with it. I gave that whole thing about 2024 being rough and me being in a difficult spot. And no, I'm happy with this too. This one is just Runa and Lagan for Valentine's Day. And it's sweet, and I like this one. It's simple, especially in the background, but I still like it. It works. And this one's just a Carolyn portrait. I think this is when I really nailed Carolyn's design. This one I'm super happy with. I really like this one. And finally, we have the cover for Kalidas Chronicles Volume 2, which was released in June of 2024. Like with Volume 1, I probably will do a different cover for the second edition, but I like this. I still like this one. Remember, in 22, I mentioned this illustration of Catherine and Heather meeting in Volume 2 that happens. In 24, leading up to, or like right after the release of the book, I updated that one. And this one is kind of uniquely frustrating because I do think it's a huge improvement. Like, the design of Catherine's dress, much better in the redo. Everything about Catherine in the redo, much better. Except the face is still off, and it doesn't feel like they're looking at each other. It feels like their gazes are kind of missing, and that's the thing where I'm like, for this piece to work and to get the mood that I want, going back to that whole mood in art thing, to get that mood that I want, their gazes have to meet. Because that's the whole point of the moment in the story, and that's why I wanted to capture it in art, is this Catherine just being chill and Heather being like, who are you? Why are you here? Get out. This is supposed to be my time here. I won't spoil what's actually happening. What's happening is not what Heather thinks is happening. But yeah, no. With this, if I were to go back and fix this, I think I would mostly just need to fix the faces. And at some point, I probably will. Just because, like I said, it is so uniquely frustrating that it is so much better, but it still falls short of where I want it to be. I mentioned I have drawn Aurora, the Titan of the Dawn, before. These are the designs for Aurora, Titan of Dawn, and Selene, Titan of the Dusk. So Sun and Moon, of course. These are the gods who created the universe that Kalidas Chronicles takes place in. So these two are companion pieces. These are characters who are set to appear in Volume 4. Moiraine appears at the end of Volume 3, but they're supposed to be players in Volume 4. And it is Moiraine and Daemon. And these two are just a power couple, and I love them. And so after I wrote a scene, the scene where Moiraine appears in Volume 3, I was like, I've got to draw them. Well, I drew her, and I'm like, oh, this came out so well. I've got to draw Daemon too. And so just, these are the two companion portraits of Damon and Marie. This, very rough, of course, but I wanted to draw some of the characters who appear in Volume 3, especially the opening part, which takes place away from the main story, but it will eventually tie in. But yeah, all of these are characters who will eventually become very relevant to the story, to the main story. But yeah, as I was editing this section in the fall of 24, I was like, I just want to sketch them all. And so I did this. And this one, so this one is when I really knew what Catherine's outfits in the story are gonna look like. I called this her war dress because she puts it on to go deal with some shit that's going down. And I'm still so proud of this design. The art itself is, there's some issues with the shoulders and the arms. I think her arms especially are too short. And her head is a little too big. But overall, the point of the drawing was to draw the dress. And I drew the dress and it came out really well. So you know what? That's what matters. Hrothgar and Carolyn again, being precious. This one is okay. I'm frustrated with this because there's stuff I like about it. I spent way too long drawing the hydrangeas in the background, but it's just okay, honestly. And that was the last piece of 2024. Because that was in September or early October, I believe. And that was right before everything came crashing down. And I still don't quite know what else to say. I guess I could be honest and say that there were a couple sketches I did, including these two cute little fairies. But otherwise, 2025. The least I've drawn in the last 2 decades. I will try to do this without getting too emotional, because this does bring us to the end. For now. February 2025, first piece I finished was a Madeline Valentine's Day piece, because why fight tradition, essentially. It's overall, I think it's pretty solid. The main issue is the nose, especially, but overall, I think it came out all right. So in March, there's a web series on YouTube called God School, which is basically the Greek gods in high school. And in March of last year, the creator did a Draw This in Your Style contest with a picture of Aphrodite. And I was like, I enjoy this series. I'm not doing much else. So how about I give it a shot? And so I drew Aphrodite. And I think it's cute. I think it deserved at least an honorable mention in the contest. But it did not get any acknowledgement. Okay. Now, in the summer, or late spring, early summer of last year, I had the crazy idea of, I had started playing Love in Deep Space in April, and I was like, what if I start streaming it now that I have an iPad? And so I did a bunch of channel art. And I think I did these in maybe June of 25. So this was my stream starting soon for the channel. This one did get used. I also made a couple variants, which is like the back soon and stuff like that for it. This was the stream ending that I did not get to use on stream because I could never figure out how to make that work. Usually I'm like, just hit end stream when I'm done. So this never got used for that, but I did end up using it as thumbnail art for a video I did a few weeks ago. This one should be very familiar. This one it started out as just kind of my basic background for my streams. It has now become like the template art for my thumbnails, and also whenever I need a background in my videos. That's pretty much it. Not what I originally intended to be using it for, because streaming didn't quite work out. But you know what? I have the art and I use it now, and that's what matters. And I am really happy with how these three pieces came out. Like, considering how much I was struggling with everything I attempted to draw last year, and even kind of still do, these came out really well. And I really like them. And this one, Summer Pinup, it's a character named Pia, who you have not seen before, and there's a reason for that, but that is topic for another time. I was feeling inspired last summer, so I'm like, oh, I'll do a beach pinup. It's okay. I definitely struggle with like head shape. That's something I really need to work on. But overall, I think it came out okay. And then this one, well, I think I managed to capture a mood with this one. Yeah, that brings us to the end of 2025.